Hi, today I'm gonna be going over my double north build for endurance. I finally got to test it for most of the waves. 26 was the last one I needed to test it on, and finally a friend has this build. I got 26 on this side and he survived, so we can finally show the build. Now, double north, it's pretty difficult to build to be consistent. Mainly because of the terrain that you can see here that stops you from building a lot of tunnels. So what I'm doing here is triple pathing. Basically, most of the huts spawn here. There's a second spawn here, up here, and there's a rare spawn up here. So the way I'm doing it, most of the huts are gonna choose this one. And then come all the way here, hit by all the traps, and then come up this natural ramp here and into the amplifier. Then there's others that when they spawn on this side, they prefer a more straight line than going all the way there. So they can either come in here and into the same ending of the tunnel. Others are gonna choose to walk in this direction, hit by all the ceiling sappers, and then go up this side and into the amp. And finally, the ones that spawn most to this side, instead of going all the way there, they go up here and into the last tunnel, and then to the amp. These ones also used mostly by assassin cast, because when I'm standing AFK there, this side is gonna be the most straight line they can find to the amp, to where I'm standing. So they usually tend to come in this tunnel instead of the other two. Also for assassins is the reason I'm having a bit of Blockoff on this side, because without this, assassins only need to break one wall and then they can go up this ramp and they think they can go faster to where I'm standing at my AFK spot. So here I'm just using 2 walls. Then on this other ramp, just more walls. Then here 2 edited cones. Here, this is just because sometimes they can try to break through there when... I mean, it doesn't really happen too often, but they could come here if you didn't have any blocker, and they would break these floors and ruin this pathing. So this prevents it, just 2 floors and 2 cones. And I have another wall and another cone here with a floor. For the same reason, they could break and ruin a bit. You can test without them, but I prefer to play it safe. Then for more Blockoffs, on this side, this is mainly for Flingers. I have a floor, a cone, and a wall to prevent them from coming up here and throwing at the amp. And then to prevent them from coming here and throwing, I have 1 wall, another wall here, 3 cones, and 3 walls. It's because, for example, here you can't build, the terrain doesn't let you. And if you try to block here, they can always come here because it doesn't let you build. And even if you place like a wall there, they can still walk on this side. So I just move the block up until this side. Then here, like I mentioned, there's a rare spawn that can happen here. So if huts are spawning here, they could just walk inside here and break stuff and get to the amp without getting hit by any traps. So I'm using healing wall launchers to throw them either here or into the water. These are triple impact, double reload, and heals attached. And since it's only 2 tiles, the 3 impact is enough to knock them all the way back. Then the way this is going to work to avoid propane explosions, because on wave 6 there's a lot of propanes, and wave 6 is the wave that always gets attacked on Devil Lamp. We're using tire traps to call them in the spot where the sandwells are gonna be hitting them. So I'm using triple durability and double reload. That's usually enough to call the fast, enough time for the sandwells to get rid of their propanes. And in here, well, this is just gonna stall them until these other traps finish reloading. And also this angle or this angle is gonna get rid of any propanes that are designed to come this way. Then for these other perks on the sandwells, here I'm using one with double reload and for durability on this one. Same on this side. Same on this one. This one. And this one. Then to have different timing on these reloads, I'm using one of these with one blue instead of legendary on this tile and on this one. Then here I'm using one with one reload and 5 durability, and on this one and this one I'm using with one purple reload. I also forgot to mention these angles. Since this one was double reload, here I'm using the next 2 fastest ones, and one with a blue reload and one with a purple reload, one of each here. Then these freezes are in case any has makes it through while the tires are reloading. These ones are also gonna hold the huts in place while the sandwells are hitting them. And I'm using shots with 3 durability to reload and effect duration. You can also use with 1 impact instead. It's up to you. You can also replace this one with a wall dart if you want. So when the huts are stuck here, the wall dart would be shooting them constantly. You can also edit this wall into a window and put the wall dart here. And it's also gonna shoot through ramps pointed in that direction. That's up to you. And then for the wooden floor spikes, I'm using the crit build, rating double crit damage and damage with durability. You could also just put the kills attached if you want, but it's up to you. That would help maybe if there's a couple of explosions, then this floor is gonna heal over time to be ready for another wave. Same on these ones. Same perks. Then for the retractables, I'm using the usual crit build, rating double crit damage and damage. Then the dynamos, and these two are gonna have one reload, like this, crit rating, crit damage, damage and reload. And the ones in front are gonna have double crit damage. Like this, crit rating, double crit damage and damage. Same as in other amplifiers, you can use either nature or energy. With nature, you're gonna be more prepared for waves 21 and 26. And with energy, maybe you prefer just to defend a bit better on wave 6 and maybe wave 10. That's the other random wave that can happen. Those are nature waves, but up to you. Nature is gonna be better. Then for all these ceiling sappers, I'm using the crit build. Damage, double crit damage and crit rating. You can either use with durability here or heals. It doesn't matter because You're never gonna run out of durability on a ceiling stopper. They reload too slowly. And the same perks on all these other ones. On this one too. Then for the ceiling electric fields, the usual crit rating, double crit damage and damage. Again, either nature or energy, depending what you have. Those two are the same. Then the wall darts, as I use in all the other arms, crit rating, double crit damage and damage. We have a couple here, shooting through the windows. And there. Then those just shooting while they're walking towards here. Then here. And around there, just again shooting through the window, and the same here. This one is gonna be optional, because this one is only gonna kill smashers, because any other class is not tall enough to be hit by them. But smashers are a bit taller, so they usually do get hit by this wall dart. Same with this one. Usually has when the trap triggers are gonna be like here, and that's too short for the darts to hit them, but smashers are gonna be hit. Then for any has that escape, there's the ceiling electric fields here just to finish them off, and a couple wall darts, since those have 3 tiles range to activate. That's within range, and those are gonna shoot that any has that makes it. Then for the other perks of the wall dynamos, here we have also with double crit damage, because it's at the end. Then one with double crit damage and one with reload. Double crit damage, double crit damage, double crit damage, reload. Then we have one with a reload and one with double crit damage. Also, while I was recording, I noticed that I had forgotten to place one trap here. So this is the same as this one. They're both gonna be with double crit damage. Just in case you saw in another one of the parts of the video that I was missing a trap here, this was it. Then I think the final perk is gonna be for the broadsides. You can use either the same perk or alternating like I usually do. Like you can do one with double crit damage and one with the reload speed, like for all of these. Or on the last tile you can use double crit damage on both sides. I also forgot to mention on this one, you can use this one, crit rating, crit damage, and reload. You can also get rid of the reload and put another crit damage, but it's up to you. Also, this one should be directed to that direction. What I mean is, when you place it, you have to place it while looking at that direction. Like this. And same with all of the other tire traps. When you place them, you have to be looking like this. That way, the tires are actually gonna push the has, like in this direction. You can tell by the little green thing, just in case you didn't know. And same with the freeze traps. Those also have a direction. So when you place them, you also have to be looking to that direction and place them like that. That way, they're gonna push us in to this side. If you want, instead of these ramps holding the tire traps, you can just move them back a bit, like here. destroy those ones and place here a few more roofs with either tires or seeing electric fields. That's another option. I'm just going for the cheaper way. But that's another way. If you have, like, for example, a lot of explosions in this tunnel, you can add one ceiling drop trap like here, and it's gonna hold the house on these sand walls. Also, as you can see, I'm not using gas traps on this one, mainly because of all the risk of propane explosions. So I'm using electric fields with a tile higher, just in case any propanes explode, they are not gonna destroy the ceilings, and there's not gonna be risk of Flingers throwing from the hole in the ceiling. So it's being held by this, and on this side by this other one. You can actually place another ceiling electric field here if you want to maybe have a chance to hit any house that's walking on this side, but it's optional. And this one actually doesn't hit anything on the current spot because these walls are too high to be in the range of the ceiling electric field. But I'm leaving it here in case this little box flows. This one is gonna start shooting again. All of these ones do trigger. Here and here it would never be activated unless this other tile explodes, and maybe Smasher breaks here, so I'm not putting anything there. But it's just as a little Flinger shield and lower shield. Then here, this one is hitting everyone that walks in here, and also any house that was on this side. I'm putting a wall that's low just for that. Then here there's a cone in case this wall breaks. And sometimes maybe a house would want to walk this way instead of following the tunnel, so I'm just giving it a bit more Blockoff here. And then these other ones for the same reason. This works as Blockoff for any house that wants to break a wall and walk straight to the end. And also works as a Blockoff for any house that comes here and wants to break there to go up this other natural ramp instead of walking all the way here. Since this one is gonna be shooting all the time for any house that walks here, you can also put one here and here. That's up to you. But those don't always trigger, so I just remove them. Because most of the houses come from this side, and they walk on this half of the tile, and in that case those wouldn't trigger. So I'm just saving tiles here. Also, in this one I'm using a broadside instead of wall darts or dynamos, because in case a house walks here and then here, a dynamo wouldn't hit them, and a wall dart usually misses because it shoots a bit lower, and the darts get stuck here without hitting the house. But the broadsides shoot a bit higher, and the cannonballs are gonna bounce in here, and you have more chances to hit any house that's walking. Then for smashers, there's obviously not enough damage to kill a high level smasher. Usually wave 6 can die if all the traps are actually critting. But for the higher waves, you're gonna need the smasher bridge. I already explained it in the Devil West video. But basically just they walk up here, they charge, and they fall. Same thing with the miniboss. The miniboss teleports from here and to here, and the same thing over and over. It's already explained on the previous video. Sometimes when the smasher bugs and faces through this ramp, instead of charging straight to the amplifier, sometimes they miss and they charge all the way here and breaks one of these pyramids, but I haven't noticed any changes. It doesn't really make a difference if these ones are broken or not, for the most part. It would only be a problem if these walls start breaking and cats just walk straight, but it's not really a big problem. So, I believe that's most of it. The build works most of the time, but if you get weight 26 here, you're gonna want to come to one of these spots and place a base, and watch out if any has actually make it to the amplifier. Because it's a very long wave, and if traps are running out, there's not gonna be enough damage to kill every single cast. Especially because we are using low reload on a lot of these traps. So while the traps are reloading, there's more chances that a cast is gonna make it through. So just for rate 26, you have to be a bit more careful than other waves. Then yeah, that wave and maybe explosions from propanes are gonna be the main problems you can find on this amplifier. But for the most part, it's been doing really well. I haven't lost since I built this. So that's the reason I'm just sharing it now. I had to test it for every single random wave that could happen. And now that it survived all those waves, the veil is finally ready. So yeah, let me know how it goes. You can also make a few changes. Like, I'm just giving you the idea of many pathings, just as a way to fight the bad terrain that we have on this side. But there's always some freedom to what you can and you can't do. And so yeah, good luck building it, and see you on the next video.